They kicked her off the plane, branding her suspicious, her quiet demeanor mistaken for something sinister. Minutes later, with 180 lives hanging by a thread as Flight 892 spiraled toward disaster, the pilot's desperate voice crackled over the radio, "We need Falcon." The woman they'd humiliated was their only hope, a legendary combat pilot whose call sign echoed with respect across the globe. Before you dive into this heart-pounding story on Midnight Tales, drop a comment below with your country and smash that subscribe button to join our community of thrill seekers. Sarah Chin stood at gate 47, clutching her boarding pass with steady hands as chaos erupted around her. The gate agent's voice blared over the speakers for the third time in 10 minutes, announcing yet another delay for Flight 892 to Los Angeles. Passengers muttered, scrolling their phones, but Sarah remained unruffled, her dark eyes scanning the crowded terminal with the alertness of someone trained to notice everything. In her simple dark jeans, plain black jacket, and scuffed sneakers, she looked like any other weary traveler. At 34, her unremarkable appearance, average height, shoulder-length black hair in a neat ponytail, no makeup or jewelry, made her blend in. But Sarah was no ordinary passenger. She was one of the most decorated combat pilots in U.S. military history, known in elite aviation circles as Falcon. Over 200 combat missions in the world's deadliest skies, rescues behind enemy lines, and classified special operations defined her career. A faint scar above her left eyebrow marked an ejection from a burning fighter jet over hostile territory. A slight limp in her right leg came from a crash landing that saved a ground unit from enemy fire. Today, though, she was just a daughter desperate to get home to her sick mother. The gate agent's voice cut through again, tense and frazzled. "Attention, passengers, due to overbooking, we need volunteers for a later flight. We're offering vouchers and hotel stays." Sarah glanced at her ticket, seat 12A. She'd booked this flight weeks ago to be at her mother's side for surgery tomorrow morning. After 3 tours of duty and countless classified missions, she rarely made promises. This one mattered. The agent, a young woman named Lisa, called out, "Sarah Chin, please approach the desk." Sarah stepped forward, sensing trouble from Lisa's tight expression and the security guard hovering nearby. Curious passengers watched, whispering. "Mom, there's an issue with your booking," Lisa said, eyes glued to her screen. "You'll need to take a later flight." Sarah's voice was calm. "I booked 3 weeks ago and checked in online. My boarding pass shows 12A. Lisa's fingers clacked on the keyboard, frustration evident. "Our system's overbooked by 4. You're reassigned to the 10:30 p.m. flight." "Why me specifically?" Sarah asked, her tone even despite the growing unease. She noticed Lisa avoiding eye contact and the guard edging closer. "The system picks based on booking class, frequent flyer status, check-in time," Lisa replied dismissively. "You don't qualify for priority." Sarah knew this was nonsense. She was a frequent traveler with airline status. Something else was at play. A supervisor, Frank Morrison, approached, his badge gleaming. "Is there a problem?" he asked, eyeing Sarah like she was the issue. "I'm trying to understand why I'm being bumped from a confirmed flight," Sarah said quietly. Frank glanced at Lisa's screen, his face hardening. "Mom, we have security concerns about your travel pattern. Multiple international flights, including through the Middle East. Our protocols require extra verification." The words stung like venom. Sarah felt the weight of passengers' stares, their whispers turning her into a suspect. The irony was bitter. She'd risked her life in those Middle Eastern skies for her country, yet her service was now a mark against her. "I understand security procedures," she said, her military training keeping her steady. "What verification do you need?" Frank's expression didn't soften. "We can't complete screening before departure. You'll need to rebook for tomorrow with enhanced protocols." Sarah's heart sank. Tomorrow was too late. Her mother's surgery was at 8 a.m. She scanned the boarding area, seeing passengers clutch bags tighter, a mother pull her kids closer. They assumed the airline had reason to remove her. "Please, Sarah said, a rare plea. My mother's surgery is tomorrow. I need to be there. Frank's reply was cold. We can't make exceptions. Security's for everyone's protection. The guard stepped forward, a tired giant used to handling problem passengers. Mom, gather your belongings and come with me. Sarah knew arguing was futile. Years of discipline told her when to retreat. Shouldering the backpack she'd carried on combat missions, she followed the guard, hearing Lisa announce boarding as they left. To the others, she was just another issue resolved. But Sarah Chin was no nobody. Her call sign, Falcon, commanded instant respect in aviation circles. She'd earned it spotting an enemy ambush from 15 miles away, saving a convoy. Her reflexes and calm under pressure were legendary. In her second tour, she'd held off enemy fighters 4-1 to protect a rescue chopper, earning the Distinguished Flying Cross. Her third tour involved cover-tops so secret she still couldn't speak of them. She'd saved soldiers, destroyed high-value targets, and thwarted attacks on U.S. soil. Her commanding officer called her the best pilot he'd ever seen. None of that mattered now as she sat in the airport's admin office, watching Flight 892 prepare for takeoff through a window. Her seat, 12A, would stay empty. Miss Chin, Frank said, hanging up his phone. Our security team says your travel history, multiple trips to Iraq, Afghanistan, the Middle East, flags you for review. You can rebook tomorrow. Sarah met his gaze. What about my history concerns you? Frank shifted. Frequent war zone trips raise red flags. She couldn't reveal her classified work, training allied pilots, consulting on defense projects. Those were work trips, she said. What kind of work? Frank pressed, suspicious. I can't discuss it, but I'm no threat. His eyes narrowed. That's what a threat would say. Outside, Flight 892 pushed back from the gate. Sarah had failed. She'd drive all night, arriving after her mother's surgery, unable to keep her promise. As the plane taxied away, her phone buzzed with a news alert. Flight 892 reports emergency after takeoff. Her blood ran cold. Sarah sprinted back to the terminal, her military instincts kicking in. The gate area was chaos, passengers crying, agents pale. What happened? She asked Lisa. We lost contact with 892, Lisa stammered. Multiple system failures, hydraulic pressure loss, engine fire. Sarah's mind raced. Without hydraulics, pilots would struggle to control landing gear, flaps, brakes. Landing was nearly impossible. Are they returning here? She asked. We don't know, Lisa said. They requested an emergency landing. Sarah's chest tightened. Those 180 passengers were people she'd sworn to protect. She should have been on that plane, helping. Frank appeared, frazzled. Air traffic control needs info on passengers with emergency training. He paused, eyeing Sarah. Her calm, her war-zone trips, her confidence, it clicked. Miss Chin, what did you do overseas? She met his gaze. I flew. Frank's phone rang. He answered, then handed it to her. They're asking for military aviation experts. This is Sarah Chin, she said into the phone. I have emergency aircraft recovery experience. What's their situation? The controller's voice was tense. Flight 892's in distress, engine failure, low hydraulics, sluggish controls. The crew's overwhelmed. Sarah made a choice. This is Falcon, she said, using her call sign. Patch me through to 892. Silence, then, did you say Falcon? Correct. I need to speak to them now. The gate area hushed. Frank stared, Lisa paled. The radio crackled with the pilot's strained voice, Denver Control, this is 892. Engine 2's down, hydraulics at 30%, controls barely responding. A pause, then hope, Falcon. The Falcon. Sarah's mind shifted to combat mode. Flight 892, what's your altitude and airspeed? 8,000 feet, descending 500 feet per minute, 180 knots, Captain Williams replied. Reduce power on your remaining engine, Sarah instructed. Use elevator trim to manage pitch. Don't fight the descent, work with it. How much fuel? 45 minutes. She calculated fast. Time was tight, but they had options. Declare a full emergency, she told Williams. Request the longest runway. We're using a modified military approach for compromised controls. A crowd gathered, passengers filming, Frank coordinating with authorities. Sarah explained the high-speed approach technique, counterintuitive but their best shot. It's risky, Williams said. Less risky than crashing, Sarah replied. For 10 minutes, she guided Williams, her voice steady as she relayed precise instructions. You're doing great, she said as they began their approach. Reduce power slightly, aim for 190 knots. Let the aircraft settle at 100 feet, no flare, just a firm touchdown. The next minute was agonizing. She heard the engines strain, Williams' exhaustion, the crew preparing passengers. Then, the rumble of tires, reverse thrust, and Williams' voice, Falcon, we're down safe. All okay. The gate erupted in cheers. Frank apologized profusely. If I'd known who you were, Sarah cut him off. Review your procedures. They didn't make anyone safer today. Lisa, teary, added, I'm so sorry. You could have been on board helping. Sarah nodded. The crew did the hard part. News crews swarmed, dubbing her the mysterious Falcon who saved Flight 892. She deflected praise to Williams, avoiding her classified past. Privately, she grappled with the irony, her service made her a suspect, yet saved lives. Passengers reunited with families, and Williams thanked her personally. I've flown 20 years, he said. Without you, we wouldn't have made it. Sarah smiled. You flew the hard part. She called her mother, whose surgery was delayed, giving Sarah time to drive home. I saw you on the news, her mother said, proud. My daughter, the hero. Sarah shrugged it off. Just doing what needed doing, Mum. As she drove through the night, Sarah reflected. Her removal from the flight was rooted in fear and bureaucracy, yet it positioned her to save 180 lives. The call sign Falcon had opened doors when it mattered most, proving heroes can emerge from the quietest corners. Subscribe to Midnight Tales for more stories of unsung heroes.